be very careful to who you're actually listening to. One situation, no, multiple situations. One is about the calisthenics part. A group of friends, they were training together. One guy who trains over there multiple times per week shows his friends how to do, I don't know what he was showing actually, but I think he was trying to explain how to do a pull-up. But you know what? I was thinking, see, I don't want to interfere and step on other people, their egos or whatever. But, you know, I'm always thinking, be very honest to yourself in the first place, right? I'm saying this always in my vlogs. Be very honest to yourself, but also be relentless honest to the people around you. If you get informed by a guy who tells you how to do pull-ups or whatever, explains you how to do a specific exercise, then first look how he looks like, right? Because this guy, you know, with all the respect, you know, you need to be relentless honest to yourself. Do you want to hang around with this person who gives you, probably with the best intention, misinformation, you know? And is that a horrible world to live in, because you won't keep a lot of people around you? Like I always say, in my vlogs are only for the people who want to do more in life, and that comes with a price. Another example, what I was thinking about when I was walking now from the dentist, by the way, and I was thinking about these things. Another example would be, if I talk about a next level of freedom. I don't have to be anywhere. I just take my phone and just continue whatever I'm doing. And by the way, when it's about that, the list of tools and apps that I installed on my phone to make everything happening, I will give everything away on my website. The website is on the construction. But let me tell you this, if I would go every day to my place of business, you know, sitting on the office, put on a suit, then I would misinform you, because I wouldn't know. The same would be if I go to a job 9 to 5, you know, I would misinform you. I am really living the life what I'm talking about. Freedom, like I said, I can, many times I say things like, you know, I can put up camp over here on the retreat. And then you got the laptop nerds, and you know, I need to polarize a little bit. They would say, yeah, but Dylan, I can do the same, everything from the laptop. But there are limits of freedom. My things are all from the phone. And you know how I came up with this? Because one of my business partners, he actually said constantly, yeah, I'm constantly on the move and I cannot do things on the laptop. And he has also no laptop. So, but that's why I forced myself to develop strategies and working structures that can be done from the phone. That is actually one of the reasons, that's why I push this a little bit more, but also for myself, because I like to be around the people, and along the between meetings, I just want to be productive. So that's also another reason. So that is point number 2. So is that a good reason to listen to me when it's about developing strategies and building a life on the phone from somebody who does it? Yes. There's also another reason maybe that you could consider. I started selling from when I was 11, door to door. I had multiple offline businesses, so I can't compare. I also, until I was 30, I didn't know anything about Facebook or Instagram or all that kind of stuff. But when I lost everything at 30, I developed those things. So I walked both ways. I did offline businesses. I had business partners that I started the business with. So I've been there, done that. I know the pitfalls. I know the headache of working with people that you don't qualify enough by taking it too easy on them, you know. And let's fall a little bit back on the first situation that I meant. Poor people who show you how to do the pull-ups, they climb. I'm not gonna explain what he did, but you know, take a look at your friends, and before they explain you something, they probably have the best intentions and to tell you how to do the things, but look at their body. You know, look at the fire in their eyes, listen to that tonality, you know, is it real? You know, can you see the results? Is he doing the pull-ups? Is he doing the runs? Look at his legs. Be relentless honest. You know, do you want to take information from a guy who has not the physical build and or the enthusiasm, the way he speaks about it. If those, and when it's about the situation that I saw a couple of days ago, this guy didn't have the body, the physique, but also, you know, it was really, you know, okay, I'm gonna show you. No enthusiasm. So because they're not busy with it, they're not obsessed with it. I am obsessed with the phone thing, you know, to explain people to how to make things happening on the phone for themselves, build digital assets which can be automated, you know. Because what I always see when I'm in public transport, and that's another thing, I will get to this point. The thing is, when I see everybody on the phone, but some people also scroll so fast that I think, wow, you're like a scrolling Jedi or something. But I don't believe that those people can consume content in that kind of speed, because if I saw, well, yeah, multiple times I see people, and the thing is, the way some people scroll it with such a speed, you cannot. And if they can digest information at that speed, and if you're one of those people, take a look at your own scrolling speed, and if you think that you really digest the information, well, then you got a big chance to set yourself free from slavery. And with slavery, I always mean that you have to ask your master to get on, you know, to get on a holiday. Or, and I also always talk about this, self-employed business models. People with lease cars, don't get into this. You don't want this. Yes, of course, you will see a lot of YouTubers and famous Instagram people on testosterone and stepping in the Lamborghini and all that things. But until you're at that point, don't fall for it. Just go for freedom in the first place and find something that you want. Get obsessed with your purpose, and then build around the Lamborghinis and everything. And like I said in other vlogs, when I was 41, I lost everything from the last time. I'm now, within a few days, I'm gonna be 47. Now I'm doing everything from the phone. I'm living a level of freedom you don't want to know, but I want to give it away. I give everything away for free, and my intention is simply filtering out the people along the way. People also who start doing things on the phone, and at one point they hit the roof. You know, when it's about upscaling and monetization, there's always so many ways to level up in many games, you know, in every kind of segment of life you can upgrade. That's why my vlogs are pretty versatile. You know, I talk about a lot of things, from red flags and characteristics, I talk about working structure, I talk about the training, the disciplines, the mindset behind it, the why and the how. It's all necessary. And because, and this is another thing, why do I think this is all important? Well, I lost multiple times everything, 3 times in a total. I'm ding ding ding. The last time was 41. Those situations will be discussed, but also I know what I did wrong. And no matter what you say, you know, when it's about what other people did to you or whatever, you let it happen. I let it happen. And the thing is, when you deal, let's assume that you're pretty energetic already and that you want to grow, you will attract people who have not the best intentions, and maybe they not even have the bad intentions, but unintentionally they maybe harm you on the way up. And that's something you have to keep your eyes for open, right? Like I said also in the beginning, again, this guy who explained something to his buddies, a group of, I think, 4 people, the other 3 total out of shape. You could see, and that's another thing, right? Look at the people around you. What are they consuming? You know, filling up themselves with pizzas every day, burgers, and then try to do pull-ups. Yeah, with all the respect, that is not gonna help your thinking also. And in my case, my vlogs are always building the character, the mindset that is necessary to survive, to thrive, and not just to maintain in life. You know, you want that people, you know, say, okay, he's doing his best. Because think about this, I always like to compare it with people who are in suits, have lease cars, multiple business partners, And yes, of course, you know, you can talk about those multimillionaires on the stock market, but we talk about normal self-employed people who tell you the wrong things because they haven't been there. They're not in the growth focused mindset. I know a lot of people walking around in suits, have lease cars, and then tell people how to build a mindset, build a business. That is going to be a business that is based upon self-slavery. You have to go to the office. You need to build up, you need to upscale with employees that you need to train. You don't want this. And yes, again, there are very big people who do over hundreds of millions a year and they have employees. But that's, again, you know, that is for most people not tangible or reachable in the next, let's say, 365 days. The things that I'm talking about can be executed pretty much within the next hour, the most basic ones. So you start building those assets, and when you build those assets, like audiences that I mostly talk about, you know, along the way you will figure out what you really want, and then you go for it. And then in the meantime you will start to see angles and figure out what you really want, and you start doing some exercises and you're opening your eyes not only to yourself, like I said, be relentless honest to yourself. What are you consuming? How do you look in the mirror? You know, just be relentless, you know. And then you start looking around, the people that you hang around with, do they have really the best intentions? Do they actually live what I talk about? You know, a lot of people who tell me that they're happy multiple times, trust me, if they would be that happy, they not would be constantly busy with PlayStations and I don't know what, all kind of distractions, watching the latest Netflix stories and I don't know what. If you're really genuine happy, or let's say live a life that makes you totally feel fulfilled at the end of the day, that you go to bed like, oh, I don't want to sleep, that you cannot wait to wake up. Well, if you don't have those feelings, then don't tell other people that you're happy and that you're, and be realistic. Anyway, just a very quick one. I had another one, last one, and this vlog is very short. From tomorrow I start live streaming again. I had a very busy 10 days, I think. A lot of server work, website work. Anyway, I don't want to call it work. So last example, when it's about training, a little bit more about the training. And by the way, when I say those things, it's not to look down on those people, but if you want to have a resilient mindset, character that is actually can run through the snow without actually whining and grinding, then you know, this is something what you want to maybe consider not to do. So I saw one guy came with his girlfriend and his child, you know, very cute family. Okay, nice. But life doesn't reward cuteness, and be very honest about this. So this guy, testosterone guy, white teeth, everything is perfect, but then he has to show his daughter how to do a very simple on the calisthenics part, from one end to the other side on the monkey bars. Well, it was a very hard job, and the pull-ups, he could barely put his chin over. I think he didn't even pull out his chin above the bar. And so what I want to say with this, on the outside it looks great, you know, you got the muscles and everything, but this guy, he wouldn't run 10 kilometers and then take care of business. And again, my vlogs are about this, resilient. You know, if you end up in a situation that I have ended up in, you cannot eat for 4 days, or you lose everything, or you know, you accidentally end up in jail or whatever. You know, happened. So, but besides that, if you want to have this character, you know, this resilient mindset, then watch my vlogs, you know, do the runs, put in the calisthenics work, and you know what, don't speak about what you're doing too much until the world actually says, no, yeah, you can see that he's actually training. Because I had also one conversation with another guy. He asked me a lot about the training part. And I said, oh yeah, he asked me about resting days. I said, don't put in the resting days until people actually say, oh, I can see what you're doing, what are you doing? Or if I can see that you put in the work, how and what are you doing? So very quick vlog, very short vlog, maybe very confusing again. What is the moral of this vlog? The moral of the story: be careful who you listen to and what you actually digest from other people, and what you actually start implementing in your own life. I know the majority of the people, they're not implementing anything what other people say. Because, oh yeah, and I'm gonna do one more example. There's one guy I spoke with, a young guy. He actually, I talk always about audiences, and I think I have to change that angle, because a lot of people don't understand what I mean with audiences. But this guy, I also spoke with him. He's actually doing a little bit trading, blah blah blah. But then I saw on one of his social media accounts that he says, I'm building an, I don't know what, I think it was a Telegram group. But in the meantime, he ignores all the strategies to build an audience. So that makes me think about myself, how to make this more clearer to people. I need to put it grab it from a different angle somehow, somewhat. But anyway, that is something that I'm thinking about. And he was one of those examples that I actually noticed, maybe I think this morning when I saw it, and I think, yeah, he is trying to build an audience, but he calls it a Telegram group. And you understand what I mean? So also maybe you, when you're watching this, what do I mean with audiences? Well, let's finish with this thing, with this thought. When you're opening a store, and because let's say normal business people would say, take a loan from the bank, open a store, that's it, you got the foot traffic or whatever. Maybe you open a store in the mall, you got the foot traffic, that's what you pay for the location, etc. The thing is, what I always suggest, first build the audience and then start monetizing them. And you can create audiences pretty much, let's say, if you would invest 50% of the time that you waste now on mindless scrolling, and you would invest this in building audiences, you would be aces. Let's say you start today, after 6 months, you got multiple audiences. And then you might think, yeah, Dylan, but it takes so long, 6 months. Well, what are you doing now? Let's assume you go to school. What are you gonna do afterwards? Probably get a job. And let's assume that you have a job now. What are you gonna do after 6 months? Probably you're still at a job. And let's say you're self-employed. What are you gonna do after 6 months? Probably you're gonna be self-employed and still a slave of yourself. The thing is, why not start today? Within 10 minutes you can open an, for example, Facebook page. Name it, put a cover on it, profile picture, boom. Start the beginning of something, 10 minutes investment. And then you might have these objections. Yeah, but Alan, I don't know what to choose. Well, don't choose. Do multiple Facebook pages. That's the thing about creating digital assets, and you control it. And there's another benefit of this. Even if you don't know really what you want yet, then create 10 different things that you're interested in. 10 different Facebook pages. I'm now mentioning pages because I think that's very easy to understand. And the thing is, then create 10. And then you have to create the titles, the descriptions, the hashtags, etc. And then the pictures or the videos. The thing is, it will, at one point maybe you get fed up with one audience. Now that already shows that you're not interested enough in that topic. Done deal. So is that a failure? No, it's not a failure. So that's how you just begin. Just start. And don't listen to the people around you. Listen to a guy who's doing it. Within a couple of months, no, within a couple of days, I'm gonna be 47. I'm doing this for a living. I breathe it. I don't do anything else. I do the training. I'm developing so much automations. I use a lot of AI. AI is a huge part of, let's say, of an accelerator of the speed that I'm actually now upscaling everything. And like I said, the last time when I lost everything was 41, but I took my time to build everything, cut off a lot of crap, people. Definitely. Nobody messes now with my mind anymore, blames me for a lot of stuff. Or I also don't consume anything anymore what is normal people stuff. I stopped smoking cigarettes. I had this period of smoking cigarettes, stopped doing it. I drank beer, stopped doing it. All the vices are gone. I'm only focused on developing the stuff. Now I'm focusing on, I want to become, now let's say, a 50-kilometer run guy. That's what I want to do now. That's where I'm slowly going. So yeah, I am obsessed. So would it be something to consider to listen to what I have to say? I think so, because not only I walk the other side, that I have done, that I did everything offline without any knowledge about how to market stuff or do the websites. I got everything, I got for everything templates. Bam, take action now. You know, I'm focused on speed and upscalability, and that things are evergreen, and the only limit is actually your discipline in actually doing the stuff. You know, how far you want to pump it. 2 posts a day or 10 posts a day. One audience that you build, or you build 50. I got over 100. I'm not bragging over here, by the way. And everything will be fully automated within a couple of weeks. So yeah, and let's say only 1% of those audiences are actually monetized. So yeah, think about that. So that is also something to consider when you build digital assets. When you are going to be older, those assets are over there, and you might think, yeah, but Alan, what if I get cancelled? Well, if you don't do weird things, you won't get cancelled. But if you would get cancelled, there are backup strategies for, you know, and I can share those things, and I will share those things. So you take people from the platform, they're your own audience. Yeah, but Alan, I'm very shy. Okay, then I think it's better to stay at your job, your self-employed business or whatever. And that is very harsh to say. When it's about shyness, I thought about this tomorrow. If somebody was shy in the past, I was very shy, and still I am very judgmental to myself, and many times I think, yeah, shall I say something on the vlog or shall I skip it? But the thing is, just do it, and over. And if you're shy, let's assume that you're shy, you know, that you think you're not good enough, then do it just more, and then you get in the rhythm of just doing it, and then everything seems to be way less scary than you would have think in the beginning. Trust me, when I started with this vlogging thing, with this vlogging venture, I was also thinking, yeah, what people gonna say? Well, maybe I make mistakes. No, maybe within a few days I'm gonna be 47. Why would I be worried about what other people think? And next to that, the people who are into the growth focused, maybe they can say, hey, this guy is 47, he can do it. I got a young mind, I got the 25-year-old mind, young mind, so I can absorb faster, I can do it better. Well, that would be great. So when you start at 25 and then you contact me after 10 years and then you say, Alan, I made a couple of whatever you want, what your goal is, and then you want to upscale, then I can give you the information, because I am obsessed. So I keep on developing every single day. So that also, when you would understand something about this, when you develop every day without having, let's say, holidays, that you're making pizzas in foreign countries to make your Facebook page look a little bit, or your Facebook profile a little bit more interesting. But the thing is, if you would be obsessed like me, then you start to see angles that nobody else would see. If you don't do the things every single day, you don't see the angles. Am I bragging over here? No, I just want to build a little bit rapport, right? So you understand that I'm not messing around. So you should try those 10 minutes. And it's the same with the one minute, the 13-step 1 minute exercise. So you get brighter between the ears, you lose weight. What is the negative outcome? I don't know, I don't see negative outcomes. Maybe you will be a little bit sore, but you know, enjoy the soreness at one point. Again, when you feel soreness, just do it more and more. Everything what feels negative to you now at this point in your life, the same I talked about this, I think, this summer in one of the vlogs. I talked about the fact when so for example, you have a little bit a breakup thing and it feels a little bit shitty. Well, I'm not telling you to act like a slut, but you know, just do it more. Break up more often, so you grow this elephant skin for breaking up. Oh, doesn't feel good? Walk away. It's not meant to be. Anyway, let's cut this vlog. The moral of this story slash vlog: be careful who you listen to, and also ask the question. You know, ask the question. So for example, this group of people get instructed by their friends with the best intentions, but I know this guy has also a little bit an ego, so that's why, you know, I wouldn't say anything about it, because he was, you know, he's very confident about what he says, but you can see his whole body, there's nothing. Yeah, let's say it like this. I like to say things in the most maybe very Spartan and harsh way, but that is real reality. So this guy, yeah, that is, you know, if you pump him on his fucking chest, and what do I mean with this? You know, you bash somebody on the chest and he will crumble up. That's one of those people. And I'm saying this with all the respect, but maybe it will hit you a little bit more between the ears, that you understand that you have to look at the other people. You know, is there something that would say, no, this guy is pretty strong, I can see. You know, you also know those maybe those army looking people, you know, the people who are putting the work, that look strong, and you know, no testosterone of the chemical stuff. You know, you can see those, there are people that look extremely strong. That's what you want, and that's also what you need in life. You know, if you would take every 2 hours food and then testosterone stuff extra, you know, what if you know, you have to put in the work in your business for 4 or 5 days if necessary, to you lock yourself up for 2 weeks, and you cannot stay strict to your diet stuff, you know, then you lose the muscle, your confidence. See, in my case, the way I train, everything is about longevity, endurance, oxygen, you know. That's what you need, longevity, and also a resilient mind. I run in the snow, I run in the rain, I run in the sun. Doesn't matter, nobody cares if you do it or not. And in my case, I'm gonna tell you a little bit. Also, when I you know, ended up homeless, there was and my adoption parents, they died a long time ago. So there are no people who would pick up the phone, hey Don, cry a little bit on my shoulder. No. So by saying this, I just want to give you a little bit more an insight where this type of speaking is coming from. But I'm very aware of what is real and not, and I'm relentless when it's about cutting off people. Anyway, this is not something like a negative rant that everybody's bad. No, not at all. If you're happy with your 9-to-5 job and watching Netflix at the end of the day, that is all good. But I would like to warn people that time, maybe that time will maybe come, that you consider a little bit have how do you say this, that you don't feel good about what you have not done. I cannot come up with the word now. Remorse? No, it's not remorse. I cannot come up with a word. And now I actually really want to come up with the word. The word is feel regret. You don't want at 65 that you say, oh, now I have finally, that you don't have to work anymore. Wow, I start totally losing my words. Yeah, that you get that you're retired, and then you have time to think, and then you having a lot of regrets. Oh, I wish I would have started building the audiences when I was 25, 40 years later. Just saying. Anyway, I'm over here in Sofia, Bulgaria, and just a quick vlog. Keep your circle clean. Will save you a lot of heartbreak, money, time, and money loss and time loss. Because the one thing we will never get back is time. I lost a lot of time, but I took the lessons from all the things with open arms, and I'm actually very grateful for everything. So it's not like, hey Dylan, you sound now that you regret everything. No, I made so many mistakes that I took so many lessons from, and I want to prevent, or I would like, and that people prevent the same amount of idiotic situation that I end up in the past. That's for sure, because I didn't have any boundaries. Okay, I think I start losing my words. Ciao for now.